Today we're going to talk about accountability and why accountability is important, and about three lies that we tell that inherently ruin us. The first lie is a lie to other people. That lie is something that you do in order to try to put the best foot forward for other people, i.e., you're trying to live up to their expectations of you. That will leave you insecure and miserable. Lying to other people about who you truly are. You have to be honest about who you are. You will never experience happiness until you're able to be honest about who you are, until you're able to identify yourself. That's self-awareness. You have to be able to identify yourself. You have to take the time to be able to push out everybody else's ideals, ideas, and expectations of you, and literally turn inward and figure out who you are. Where do we slip up at? We slip up because we lie to ourselves. This is lie number 2. The lie that we tell ourselves is that we are perfect, we are great, we are better than someone else, or we could never do that. We do not acknowledge our faults. We do not acknowledge the things about us that are bad. That comes with accountability and responsibility. Acknowledging the things about you that are not good. It's being realistic. And none of us really want to live in reality, because reality is an ugly, ugly truth. There is no pretty versions of reality. Not to say that life sucks, but there's no pretty version of reality. And just like David Goggins says, if you don't understand and accept that suffering is a part of life and a part of greatness, then you will never find greatness. Because to live is suffering. But you have to find meaning in that suffering. Like DMX said, meaning, purpose in that suffering. Purpose, right, in your pain, like I said in a previous video. So we lie to ourselves. And we lie to ourselves in more than just one way. One is not accepting our reality, and the other one is setting expectations and goals for ourselves that we know we're not going to meet. Ooh. So essentially what we tend to do is, New Year has just come around. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to exercise consistently. And then we don't achieve it. And when we don't achieve it because we give up, or we come up with some reason or some excuse as to why we're not achieving our goals, we're lying to ourselves and we're making ourselves more insecure. Because if you can't believe you, then nobody else can, nor will you believe anybody else. Because you can't believe you. So if you don't stick to the things that you say, if you don't stick to the promises that you make to yourself, you inevitably will fail. That's the difference between winners and losers. People who are driven are people who have made a promise to themselves that they're going to keep. They're not going to lie to themselves. And number 3 is don't lie to God. God, the Most High, the Creator, whatever you may deem as the title proper for the one above, do not lie to God. That's just as bad as lying to yourself. It's the same process. Making a promise that you don't intend to keep. You have to make sure that you are honest with yourself. So we mess up in several different ways. How do we mess up? Because we're not being realistic. So it's easy to set goals that are unreal that we can't keep. Thus, we're liars. Bet you didn't think about it like that. If you were honest with yourself from the jump, if you stopped trying to adhere to all the expectations of other people and really took the time to understand what you're capable of and what you're not, you would not be a liar. You would feel more secure because you know what you can and cannot do, what you will and will not do. It's very important to understand your limitations. We are limited creatures, yet we have the ability to be able to create technology to go beyond those limitations. But we have to be realistic about our actual limitations, whether that's mentally, whether that's physically, whether that is emotionally. You have to be realistic. That way you can find a way to break through those limitations. It's not impossible, but it's going to be improbable if you don't understand where you're at. And you tell yourself these lies daily, because being honest hurts. The truth hurts. It hurts. But if you can get past that initial emotion and use that as fuel to be able to make the things that you want a reality, you will be an unstoppable force. Why? Because you can't move to the next part, which is defining a purpose, if you don't understand who you are. Self-awareness. Defining a purpose comes after that. Now you're like, okay, this is who I want to be. And now you can be realistic about the steps that it takes to get there. That's your plan. You have to know where you're at to know where you're going. And then once you know where you're going, you can begin to start going there. And you constantly repeat this over and over and over again. This is achievement. This is success. This is how goals are accomplished. Being realistic about your starting point and where you're at, take into account all your limitations and all the abilities and skills that you have, looking for your opportunities. You can say SWOT analysis in a sense. And then going from there and defining a purpose. And once you define your purpose, now taking the steps to get there, that's the plan, and then you execute it. But here's the thing. You have to constantly self-evaluate during this process. You have to constantly keep looking at yourself over and over and over again, because things change as you begin to walk the path. So now you have to evaluate again, where am I at now? So you have to constantly do that. So you have to have milestones. You have to have places where you can look back and be like, okay, what have I accomplished? Where am I at now? And now how can I adjust that to be able to achieve my goal? There might be some setbacks. There could be some things that fast forward you never know, but you have to constantly self-assess and be aware. Be honest. So stop lying to yourself. Take the time to be self-aware. Stop lying to God. Stop lying to other people. And you will discover the means to be successful. All right.